Hello everyone, this is Raiders B-Ball 20. This is my tutorial for basically putting my portrait packs into MLB 2K11. As I've said on MVPmods.com, there are two programs you'll need for this method. They are Portrait Decompress Tool and Total Installer Thingy 2010. I'm starting from a fresh install of Major League Baseball 2K11. Just to show everybody here. Now the first thing you're going to need is Portrait Decompress Tool. And like I said, you only be running this one time ever, and then it's going to be non-existent. You'll never see it again. So basically you're going to download it off Craw's website, MLBmods.com, and run the setup. And just install it when it asks you to. And here it'll say Run Portrait Decompress. It'll be check marked, and you'll hit Finish. Close out of this. Now what you're left with here is Decompress Tool. It has a Part 1 Mod Tool and CDF IFF. Now we will only be using Part 1 and Mod Tool. We will never be using CDF IFF. Now make sure Java is installed and running properly on your system, as it does utilize Java. The first thing you're going to want to do is click Part 1. What's going to happen is it's going to bring up a box, and it's going to say choose your MLB 2K folder. So what you're going to want to do is choose your MLB 2K11 folder, or the install directory. Most people, the default location is going to be your C drive, program files, 2K Sports, and Major League Baseball 2K11. And you're going to want to just do that and click OK. Then it's going to ask choose MLB 2K drive or folder where the cab files are. Now what this is going to be is basically your CD-ROM, or some of you, I don't know if you're using images, whatever, but you're going to select the drive. So here's my Blu-ray drive with the disc inserted, and I'm going to click it, and I'm going to hit OK. Now Windows is going to come up basically asking Mod Tool or CDF. Like I said, we'll be using Mod Tool. So you're going to go up here, click Mod Tool, and then come back down here and hit OK. And it'll just sit here for a bit, and then it's going to bring up what most of you are familiar with, NBA Mod Tool 2000 or 2K10. You're going to want to hit open, and then what you're going to want to do is select your Portrait IFF file in your 2K11 installation directory. So on my system, like I said, or most people, your default location is going to be your C drive, program files, 2K Sports, and then your 2K11 folder. And then there'll be a bunch of files, and you have to go over and find that Portrait IFF file. And here, so just the file Portrait, and you're simply going to hit open. And it's going to bring up a box, and it's going to ask or state file is compressed, decompress it now. You're going to say yes, and then it's going to say file is decompressed, now loading datas. You're going to hit OK, and pretty much you'll have portraits and so forth you'll be able to see here. This really is irrelevant at this point. So once this is all done, you're going to exit out of NBA Mod Tool, and it's going to say your file is now decompressed. Hit OK. You can now close out of Portrait Decompress Tool, and there'll be actually a folder on your desktop called Portrait Decompress. You can actually put that in your recycle bin. It's not needed. Just completely get rid of it. And like I said, that's the only time we'll ever be using Portrait Decompress Tool. And now what we're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to MVP Mods, or if you already have it, you're going to want to download and install Total Installer Thingy 2010 and run the setup. And just leave the default directory and so forth. And hit finish once it's installed, and then all of you should actually have a shortcut on your desktop here. And like I said, this is all you're ever going to do now for installing my portrait packs, and ID numbers have changed with this method, but any portrait pack I upload, you shouldn't have any problems. You're going to run Total Installer Thingy 2010, and the first time you run it, this is only the first time, it's going to say select your MLB 2K10 folder. So here we're going to want to run and bring it to the 2K11 directory. So program files, 2K Sports, Major League Baseball 2K11, and hit OK. Now I'll bring this box up, and this is what it's going to bring up every time from this point forward. You're going to hit the open button on the right side here and select your portrait pack that you've downloaded. This is the Mega Portrait Pack file on my desktop that I've uploaded on MVP Mods, and hit open. And then you're going to hit the start button, and it's going to run, and it'll bring up basically a command prompt and run some numbers. And basically the first time you do this, it's going to take a little bit longer. This is going to run much faster the next time you do it, by the time you've decided to already install a second file. Like I said, this is a matter of seconds sometimes. Right now, you know, it's actually dragging a little bit, but basically it's a countdown at 1800 and works its way down to 0, and then you get a finished box. Just simply hit OK, and every time you run this program and every time you hit OK, it's going to go back to Craw's website in whatever your default browser is, Firefox or whatever, and it's going to open up MLBmods.com. So you can simply just close out of that, close out of your Total Installer thingy, and you can actually see if your portrait's installed correctly. We'll run 2K11 here this first time just to make sure it worked. The one I'm going to use as an example is Vernon Wells, because I know in the game he still had his Blue Jays hat, and we'll just go in and make sure that that it actually installed correctly. And like I said, this will work every one I use. The portrait IDs are different from if you simply use NBA Mod Tool, because like I said, it allows for over 65,000 portraits. MLB Mod Tool, you're doing one at a time, and it only allows 10,000 at a time. So check the Angels lineup. There's Vernon Wells in his Angels hat, and it worked. If anybody has any questions, feel free to post them on the boards under the portrait pack, and we'll go from there. But I hope this helped everybody.